A high-mileage SUV rolls in, 300,000 miles, asking for routine service. We grin because forever is normal care. Fluids on time. Miles keep climbing. We rank 7 SUVs by total cost, stranded risk, and simple upkeep we can follow. Number 1 is cheaper than most expect, and it sets a serious tone. Ready? Number 7. Nissan Xterra, 2011 to 2015. This SUV looks thirsty and older, so it gets priced cheaper than it deserves. That discount is profit and freedom because the Xterra is tough and reliable with basic care. We like it for guys who want simple trucks, not sensitive crossovers. Most shoppers see the gas bill, panic, and move on to something softer and riskier. That choice feels smarter today than it feels painful later when the repairs stack up. So we shop with calm eyes and we look for durable hardware and predictable ownership. Subscribe to our channel and be the first to know the best deals on cars. A customer came in hunting a 4Runner, and the price made him stressed for days. He told us he wanted something that lasts, and his budget sounded tighter with each sentence. We pointed at a clean Xterra, and it felt calmer and cheaper the moment he drove. On the test drive, he noticed the steering felt directer and the body felt solider. That solid feel matters because it comes from a truck-like chassis and a simple layout. And when you want a longer life, simple beats clever, every single time. In these years, you are getting a non-turbo V6 and a traditional durable automatic. That combo is durable and familiar, so most shops can handle it without drama. You also get a real low-range 4-wheel drive, which stays useful and reliable in rough weather. Now we keep the warning honest, because every deal has a downside and a trade. The ride can feel firmer and louder, and the fuel use can feel annoying. But that trade buys you a stronger platform that takes abuse and stays stable for years. Here is the price comparison we see again and again, and it is hard to ignore. A same-year 4Runner often costs thousands more, while the Xterra stays cheaper with similar miles. That gap can cover tires and fluids, plus a full inspection with money left. And compared to a soft crossover at the same price, the Xterra gives you margin. Fewer electronics means fewer gremlins, and fewer mystery problems that go costly. So the money stays in your pocket, which is the whole cheaper budget point. It fits winter commuters who need traction and weekend guys who want practical space for gear. It also fits light towing because the chassis stays solid and the drivetrain stays durable. But if you want silent cruising and top mileage, skip it, because that goal is different. Before you buy, we run a checklist that keeps your decision calm and clean. First, crawl underneath and look for rusted frame spots because corrosion is costly. Second, check 4-wheel drive engagement because binding or grinding is dangerous. Third, watch coolant health because overheating turns a cheaper SUV into damage. Fourth, look for leakage because slow seepage becomes expensive when it gets ignored. Fifth, scan for abused off-road life because bent parts mean harder future work. Sixth, listen for wheel bearing hum because it is common and annoying. Seventh, feel the shifts because clean engagement should stay smooth and steady. Eighth, brake from speed because pulsing rotors are fixable and practical solid leverage. When you finish that routine, the decision feels calmer and smarter, not rushed. So tell us, would you take this tough option over a softer crossover, yes or no? Because the next SUV is quieter and modern, and it surprises people for the right reason. Number 6. Mazda CX-5, 2014 to 2016. This is the normal SUV people skip, and that skip keeps it cheaper and quieter. They chase the big badges, and the CX-5 stays tight and reliable in the corner. That is good news for us because overlooked cars create value and leverage. We see these come in with big mileage, and we expect bad news and stressed size. Then we check them, and the visit turns into filters and brakes, not heartbreak. That pattern is why mechanics respect it, because it stays predictable and calmer. One commuter rolled in after a long highway life, and he looked stressed and worried. He said it felt sharp, and he assumed a sudden failure had to be failing. We put it on the lift, and the inspection stayed simple, because the basics were handled. That matters because forever is not magic. It is routine and discipline. In these years, you get a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder and a traditional durable automatic. That setup avoids CVT issues, and it avoids turbo heat, so ownership feels simpler. When you avoid extra heat and extra complexity, you avoid sudden and costly bills later. So your savings stay useful instead of getting swallowed by special repairs. And that is how a cheaper crossover becomes a smarter long-term play. On the market, this Mazda often sells for lower money than a similar CR-V, which feels cheaper. It is not because it is weak, it is because demand stays lower in many areas. So you can buy a clean example, keep it maintained, and still feel confident. We also like the way it drives, because it feels stable and controlled at speed. That feeling helps you drive gentler, and that keeps parts alive longer. So you get comfort without the costly premium baggage of a luxury badge. This fits daily driving because it feels stable, and it does not demand special attention. If you hate loud cabins, the CX-5 stays quieter, and that comfort keeps you relaxed. But if you need more cargo, look elsewhere because a larger box will feel roomier. Here is our shopping checklist, and it keeps you from buying someone else's neglect. First, check wheel wells for rusted bubbles if you live in salt, because rust spreads. Second, ask about fluid changes, because fresh fluids keep shifting, smooth and healthy. Third, feel motor mounts at idle, because vibration is annoying and it hints at wear. Fourth, listen to bumps, because suspension clunks mean bushings, and bushings mean time and money. Fifth, test the HVAC hard, because weak cooling turns summer into miserable, costly pain. Sixth, read the tires, because uneven wear points to alignment and worn suspension. Seventh, test the infotainment controls because heavy wear signals careless habits. Eighth, do a highway run, because a stable SUV should track straight with ease. Finish with a tight parking lot turn, because binding or clicking can signal a warning problem. If all that feels right, you have a cheaper daily rate that stays tight and honest. If you want the market to act crazy, number 5 is the name everyone overpays for. Number 5, Honda CR-V, 2012 to 2016. The CR-V is common and reliable, and that is exactly why it matters. It sells quickly and holds value, because it treats daily life like normal work. And when owners get careless, it still stays strong, which is rare and special. We see shoppers chase touchscreens and features, and their budget feels painful. Then, a clean CR-V shows up with records and maintained history, and the room gets quieter. Because a folder of receipts is better than a shiny badge with unknown past. One guy came in wanting newer, and he kept saying safety and technical upgrades. His old crossover was tired, and he was ready to trade into another payment. We walked him to a 2015 CR-V with records and simple service notes. He drove it, and the steering felt steady, and the brakes felt smooth and confident. Then he looked at the mileage, looked at the prices, and his face went relieved. Because he realized he could buy condition, not hype, and still feel secure. Here is why this CR-V keeps earning praise in real ownership, not forum drama. The engine is natural and durable, and the automatic is traditional and predictable. So you skip turbo heat and you skip weird shifting tricks that become costly. What owners feel is simple: easy mornings, fewer surprises, and lower repair panics. The oil change is easy, the filters are easy, and the layout stays friendly. So you are not paying extra labor hours for hidden parts and complicated packaging. The drivetrain also avoids the gimmicks that turn small issues into bigger damage. No fancy air suspension, no risky dual clutch experiments, just normal components. That is why a well-kept CR-V can stack miles, stay steady, and stay useful. Now the price talk, because the market loves charging a badge tax on comfort. A CR-V can cost more than similar-sized crossovers, even when both feel clean. But paying more does not always mean longer life. It means higher demand. We tell buyers to look past the hype and compare total costs, not emotions. If a cheaper SUV needs a CVT or a turbo or overdue repairs, it is expensive. So the CR-V can be the smarter buy even when the sticker feels painful. Before you hand over cash, do our quick checklist and keep your decision clean. Start with a cold start because a healthy motor should settle quickly and quiet. Then drive slow and feel for smooth shifts because harsh engagement is a warning. Next, listen for bumps because clunks mean suspension wear and future costs. Then test the HVAC hard because weak cooling turns summer into miserable stress. Finally, check service records because missing proof is usually hidden neglect. If it has all-wheel drive, do tight turns. It should feel smooth and silent. If it chatters or grabs, ask about rear diff service because ignored fluid gets costly. Look at tire wear too because uneven edges scream alignment neglect and careless owners. And here's a quick question. Would you pay extra for records or gamble on cheaper? If you like this kind of simple math, number 4 is bigger and family-friendly for long road trip miles every season. It looks boring and profit-driven, and it eats miles like that is normal. Number 4, Toyota Highlander 2011 to 2013. The Highlander looks boring and reliable, and that boring is the whole profit. It carries people, groceries, and luggage, and it does it with normal effort, without drama, through rain, snow, and heat. So when a family wants forever miles, this is the tool we bring up first. We see shoppers show up with 3-row dreams and a budget that feels tight. They look at newer options, see the payment, and their stomach feels painful. Then a clean Highlander with records shows up, and the plan turns smarter. One couple came in with a Pilot on their mind, and an Explorer on the list. Both looked clean and feature-packed, but the numbers felt heavier monthly. So we asked one question. Do you want comfort or costly surprises? We pulled up a 2012 Highlander that was maintained on schedule. It had service stamps, clean fluids, and tires that wore evenly across the tread. And when they drove it, it felt quieter and the ride felt stable. That is the Highlander trick. It does the job without trying to impress anyone. The proven V6 delivers easy power, and it does not feel stressed. And the automatic is traditional, so you avoid CVT drama and stay predictable. For long-term ownership, that matters more than flashy modes and complicated screens. Less tech means fewer weird failures and fewer trips that turn into expensive bills. So the Highlander becomes the calm choice when you are done gambling. Now let's talk price, because 3-row shoppers get hit with badge tax fast. A similar year Pilot can sit higher, and an Explorer can look tempting cheaper. But that tempting deal can hide costly surprises, and we see that every week. With the Highlander, you are often paying for condition and records, not hype. It keeps parts and labor more reasonable than luxury options in the same size. So your long-term cost stays lower, and that is what forever really means. Before you buy, run our checklist, and keep it simple, not emotional. First, demand maintenance history, because missing records usually means neglect. Then check coolant health, because overheating turns a solid SUV into damage. On the test drive, feel for smooth shifts, both cold and warm, no harsh flares. Listen for front-end clunks, because suspension wear gets annoying on rough roads. Then do a steady cruise, because vibration can mean tires, hubs, or tired mounts. If it has all-wheel drive, do tight circles, it should stay quiet and smooth. If it groans or binds, ask about rear diff service, because ignored fluid gets costly. Check for seepage underneath, because small leaks become bigger trouble. Finally, look for rusted spots and usual seams, especially where salt is heavy. A rusted underbody can erase a good deal, even when the engine feels strong. And test every windows and lock, because small failures add up and waste patience. If you want one, we target clean examples with service notes, not mystery bargains. We would rather buy a higher mileage unit with records than a low mileage story. Because stories do not keep you secure, and paperwork does. All right, now that we've delivered real value, here's how to keep shopping without dealer pressure. If this kind of honest, reliable guidance helps you keep real money, subscribe. We are building a simple place for drivers who want predictable ownership, not sales drama. You bring listings, we bring shopper truth, and we keep it practical. Number 3. Lexus GX 460 2010 to 2014. The GX 460 looks expensive and luxury, yet the hardware is tough and trucky. That mismatch scares buyers, and that fear makes pricing feel secret and cheaper. So you get a serious frame, real gears, and a cabin that stays comfortable. A buyer came in saying, "Lexus equals costly," and his budget felt tense and limiting. He had a used BMW X5 saved, and he was bracing for future bills anyway. We said, "If you are already paying, pay for durable parts, not fragile systems." We pulled up a GX with records, and the worry got smaller with every detail. Because this SUV shares its bones with Toyota trucks, so parts stay available. And when something wears out, you are not hunting special tools or rare modules. Under the hood is a 4.6 V8 that is proven and low stress. Behind it is a 6-speed automatic that feels smooth and consistent. Then you get full-time 4-wheel drive, so traction feels stable and confident. The magic is not speed, it is overbuilt basics that survive heavy miles. Body on frame strength, stout diffs, and cooling that handles heat without panic. Less delicate gimmicks means fewer weird failures when the years stack up. Now the market trap. People cross-shop Euro luxury and chase the newest badge. So a BMW X5, a Range Rover Sport, or a Mercedes ML can look tempting. But those can hide suspension bills, electrical gremlins, and repair waiting rooms. With the GX, you are buying a long-life platform, not a short-term flex. That is why we like it for road trips, towing, and winter duty, all reliable. We also like the seating, because long drives stay comfortable and quieter. The visibility feels open and the steering stays relaxed. And that is also why we tell buyers to check the condition like a mechanic. Start with the suspension feel, because tired parts make it ride wobbly and annoying. Listen for clunks and watch for a leaning stance, especially at the rear. If it has air suspension, confirm it levels quickly and stays steady overnight. Next, ask about transfer case and diff service. Because fluids are cheap and critical. You want clean records, not vague promises, because neglect turns pricey fast. Then check tire wear, because uneven edges mean alignment issues or worn bushings. On the test drive, feel for smooth shifts and make sure it does not hunt gears. At highway speed, it should track straight and stay quiet, not floaty or nervous. Then do a tight turn and confirm the driveline stays silent and normal. Pop the hood. Look for coolant smell, seepage, and any oil film near gaskets. Small leaks are common, but steady drips are warning signs you price in. Also, scan for warning lights, because hidden codes become expensive surprises. Finally, match the story to the paperwork, because records are your real leverage. If the seller has receipts, you negotiate calmly and you buy with confidence. And if they do not, you walk away, because patience saves serious money. If this badge still feels scary, remember the point. You are buying tough bones. And when you want a long-haul SUV with minimal drama, our next pick gets simple. Number 2, Toyota 4Runner. The 4Runner holds value like a stubborn mule, and the reason is simple. It stays reliable. That resale is a signal, because this rig keeps running when crossovers turn costly. So if the price feels higher, remember you are buying longer, piece, not metal. We watch them roll in with 300,000, and the owner looks calmer and relaxed. He is there for routine fluids and basic filters, because the platform stays predictable. That kind of visit tells us the drivetrain is durable, and the owner is smarter. One regular has a 2012 with over 350,000 miles, and he says it is casual and normal. He does oil on schedule, he does brakes when they warn him, and he replaces tires before they get sketchy and unsafe. Then the rig starts every morning, stays quieter at speed, and keeps its wallet steadier. That is the 4Runner story. It is not fancy, it is fundamental, and that is why it lasts longer. Under the hood, you get a proven 4.0 V6, tuned to stay durable under load. Behind it sits a traditional 5-speed automatic, and that pairing stays reliable with normal care. We like this setup because it avoids the usual traps, turbos, belted gearboxes, and software drama. Less complexity means fewer failure points, and fewer surprises means cheaper ownership over time. Now let us talk money, because this is where buyers feel worried and stressed. A newer crossover looks fresher with screens and sensors, and the dealer sells that harder. Then the warranty ends, and those extra systems become costly, and the value drops quickly. So the flashy buy can feel smart today, then feel painful later, and we see that cycle weekly. With the 4Runner, you pay more upfront, but you buy less trouble later, and that is fairer. It is a tool that keeps value steady, and that is why used ones never sit long. Here is our checklist, because condition is primal and stories are noise. Start with the frame, because rusted metal is damage that ends deals quickly. Look at seams, mounts, and cross members, and walk away if you see serious warning signs. Next, check suspension and steering, because tired parts make the ride floating and unstable. Look for leaking shocks and uneven tire edges that signal neglect and costly alignment. Then test the brakes, because old fluid and warped rotors turn cheaper, buys into costly catch-up. After that, ask for records, because maintained trucks have paper and neglected ones have excuses ready. We want proof of fluids, proof of cooling service, and proof that the owner stayed consistent with basic care. If the seller dodges simple questions, we treat that as a warning, and we adjust our offer calmly. Finish the drive with a tight turn, a steady cruise, and a rough patch to hear anything random loose. It should feel stable, track straight, and stay quieter, not wander or shake at speed. If it passes that, you are looking at a reliable rig that can handle forever miles without panic. Before number 1, here is the exact routine we use to avoid painful mistakes. Smart Buying Playbook. Search SMART. Stay targeted and stack trim words with one owner and service records together. Add dealer maintained when it fits, because paper trails make you calmer and pricing fairer. Filter salvage titles, missing keys, and fresh undercoating without underside photos. Those are suspicious danger signs. Skip vague ads, skip needs nothing, and skip sellers who dodge basic questions. That is where damage hides. Start with a cold engine, because cold starts. Expose rough idle and sluggish shifting quickly. Then hit city bumps, because clunks reveal worn links and bushings that become costly and painful later. Next, do a steady highway cruise, because vibrations and steering drift show serious alignment issues earlier. Then do tight parking lot turns, because binding and groans reveal hidden needs promptly. Keep it consistent every time, because a routine beats gut feelings and dealer chatter completely. Negotiate with facts, stay calmer, and use tires, brakes, fluids, and warning lights as real costs. Price each item, stay polite, and let silence do the work, because pressure is a seller trick always. Pay for a pre-purchase inspection. That small fee blocks regret and keeps your budget stable. Before you bounce, subscribe for reliable picks and simple checklists you can use on a test drive. Next video, we cover rigs that cross 300,000 miles with normal service, so you feel calmer, skip painful surprises, and buy smarter. Number 1. Toyota Land Cruiser, 2008 to 2015. This is the SUV people call expensive, then drive it, and the forever math clicks fast. And when it is proven, it stays reliable, which protects your wallet. We had one roll-in with over 300,000 miles, and the owner was calmer, steady, no panic. He wanted basic service and asked, "Anything serious or costly?" That question is the point. At big miles, it still feels normal and forever, not fragile. That normal feeling comes from choices Toyota made on purpose: bigger parts, cooler running, less drama. So when a buyer tells us he wants newer, we ask what he really wants: comfort or confidence. He showed us a newer luxury crossover, and the payment looked painful, stressed, and costly on paper. That paper pain turned into doubt, and that doubt made him open to a different, smarter idea. So we walked him to a Land Cruiser, and he laughed, then got quieter and curiouser in the seat. That quiet turned into trust when the truck felt solid, calmer, and ready over bumps. That solid ride matters, because a loose SUV feels stressful, even when it is nice. Here is the reliability truth. This Land Cruiser runs proven V8 power with a durable 6-speed automatic. That combo is proven and durable, and it avoids turbo heat and fragile tricks. With fewer fragile tricks, it stays smooth and reliable under load, and owners stop bracing for drama. It also uses full-time, 4-wheel drive, which keeps traction consistent and stable in rain and snow. And fewer panic moments matter more than a fancy screen when you drive for years. Now, the price talk, yes, it looks expensive, but the wallet math is kinder. But that upfront cost can be smaller than the money you lose on luxury SUVs that drop hard. When a luxury rig drops hard, your wallet takes the hit, and the plan stops feeling stable. We see that trap all the time. A shiny badge comes in, and the owner is stressed with a costly surprise. He is not stressed about oil. He is stressed about electronics acting random, and repairs turning costly. So the smarter comparison is total cost, repairs, depreciation, and how often you get stranded. With the Land Cruiser, you still pay for maintenance, but it usually feels planned and normal. And control is what drive forever really means. Not magic, just simple, stable routines. Here is our inspection checklist, and it starts with records, because records are proof. We want oil history, coolant service, and driveline fluids documented as proof. Keep it serious. If the seller has excuses instead of records, assume neglect and negotiate serious. Next, we check cooling health, because heat turns small issues into damage at high miles. We look for seepage, crusty hoses, and a fan that engages. Stay alert and calmer. Then we check driveline service, because a smooth transfer case is a quieter life. After that, we get underneath and hunt for rusted spots and damage, especially in salt states. Rust is not cosmetic. Rust is damage, and damage gets costly fast. While we are there, we check for leaks, because fresh oil spray can hide trouble and damage. Then we drive it, and we listen for suspension clunks and steering that stays tight and stable. If it clunks, price it, because bushings and shocks can get costly and painful in a hurry. If it wanders, walk away, because wandering usually means neglect and costly history. Last step, test the electronics and HVAC, because glitches get annoying fast. So we buy the one that feels solid and smooth with records that back it up. This is where people argue with us about paying more until they drive it and feel relieved. That relieved feeling is the payoff, because the plan feels smarter and the stress drops. Before you bounce, subscribe for reliable picks and simple checklists you can use on a test drive. Next video, we cover rigs that cross 300,000 miles with normal service, so you feel calmer, skip painful surprises, and buy smarter. Wrap up recap plus next video tease. Xterra, cheaper because it is old school, yet it stays tough when you avoid abuse and buy condition. CX-5, cheaper because it is overlooked, yet it stays reliable with basic service and clean records. CR-V, popular for a reason, it keeps costs normal and it rarely triggers that panic tow call. Highlander, family-friendly and calm, it wins by being predictable, not flashy, and that saves serious money. GX 460, luxury without the usual nightmare bills, when you keep service regular and stay alert. Forerunner, the long-haul tool, holds up with durable, simple parts and fewer surprise repairs. Land Cruiser, the closer, it costs up front, but it is built for longer, reliable ownership. Because it is built for longer use, it can be the last SUV you buy if you shop smarter and calmer. Next video, we are covering used SUVs that hit 300,000 with normal service, using the same checklist, serious approach. These 7 SUVs earn trust because they stay reliable and durable, not because they look fancy. Subscribe for more honest buying help and comment on the toughest SUV you have owned. Drive safe, stay smarter and calmer, and we will see you next time.